Apple designed liquid glass to make interface elements look like fluid glass. Critics said its transparency could make text and controls harder to see. The complaints centered on legibility. Apple introduced it in 2025 as one visual language across its operating systems, despite their different window sizes and displays. The goal was shared hierarchy across content and controls. The material reflected and refracted whatever appeared behind it. Lighting and shaders, software effects that simulate light made panels, sliders, toggles, alerts, and text suggest clear or frosted glass. The effects adapted to changing backgrounds. After feedback from the first developer beta, Apple increased opacity in navigation bars and other interface chrome. It also refined overlays and modal backgrounds. The revisions targeted readability. Later builds added controls that let users adjust the interface from clearer glass to a more heavily tinted appearance. Users could therefore choose more tint when transparent layers interfered with readability. NASA tried to replace enormous, decades-long spacecraft programs with smaller, faster missions, and produced a celebrated Mars success alongside 6 failures. After the Cold War, shrinking budgets made giant missions harder to sustain. Administrator Daniel Goldin promoted an unwritten approach after 1992: build more focused spacecraft faster. Faster meant shorter development, better meant focused science and newer technology. Cheaper meant lower mission costs, often using commercial hardware such as standard CPUs. Mars Pathfinder and its Sojourner rover became the model. The mission cost around $200 million, showing how a smaller spacecraft could deliver science quickly. 16 missions launched during the era, and every one cost less than Cassini. That higher flight rate also exposed the cost of thinner engineering margins in practice. Then 6 missions launched in 1998 and 1999, 4 failed. After Mars spacecraft failures, NASA returned the Mars program to more conservative management. One Illinois station became known for illustrating a flood with a hand-drawn lake instead of sending a crew. WSIL-TV's small newsroom and weak signal left it trailing better-equipped rivals. WSIL served a 4-state market, not just one town. Its signal had to reach southern Illinois and neighboring areas where larger stations competed for the same viewers. After new ownership in 1981, WSIL had 30 employees, including only 5 news staffers. Each principal competitor had more than 20 people in its news department. Both had more than 90 employees overall. Its 887-foot tower was far shorter than rivals' 2,000-foot structures. Federal broadcast rules blocked a power increase because it could interfere with another Channel 3 station to the north. New owners narrowed newscasts almost exclusively to southern Illinois, accepting third place in the larger market. The hand-drawn lake became shorthand for limited local television resources. Infrastructure and staffing shaped what viewers saw. KEBN expected a 2 to 4 week outage during a studio move. It did not fully return for nearly 2 years. The station had already struggled financially. Its original Christian format depended on donations, and few cable systems carried its signal. In 1992, owners relaunched it as secular independent KEBN, adding home shopping, reruns, movies, and weekend sports. By October, operations were split between Salem and Beaverton. The planned consolidation moved work into Beaverton while the station tried to reduce operating costs. On October 12, 1992, KEBN left the air to conserve funds, but it was behind on its tower lease, and a receiver had been appointed for the licensee by late 1993. The planned outage therefore became a financial interruption, not simply a relocation pause. A new ownership group bought the station out of bankruptcy. It returned on a test basis in July 1994, then moved toward a more normal schedule. A print magazine made more than half of one issue with AI, then designed the result to feel crowded, ugly, and repellent. Civilization is a 16-page broadsheet built from oversized text, images, collages, cartoons, feature boxes, and abstract lists. Its format already resists the neatness of a phone feed. Its sixth issue, released in May 2022, organized those elements around being unlikable, horrible, ugly, and relentlessly negative. AI became material for that design, not a cleanup tool. More than half the issue was AI-generated, creating a deliberately fragmented publication instead of a smoother, more polished one for readers. The unpleasantness was the design constraint. Richard Turley said the AI material represented a collective consciousness trained on people's fears and insecurities. The result was a physical object in print, handled by readers, a magazine whose discomfort was meant to be encountered directly, not smoothed away. A Shakespeare scholar turned university coursework into Wikipedia editing, sending students from English articles toward Japanese reference pages. Sae Kitamura studies British literature, Shakespeare, performing arts history, and feminist literature. She has contributed to Wikipedia since 2010. Beginning in 2015, she incorporated Wikipedia into classes through an annual translation project. Students were encouraged to translate English Wikipedia articles into Japanese Wikipedia. That process placed research inside a public, collaborative system. Students worked across language editions while encountering the mechanics of shared editing. Kitamura also joined editathons. Her teaching did not stop at contribution. Kitamura examined gender bias and privacy concerns on Japanese Wikipedia through public discussion and writing. Students therefore practice translation while confronting the limits of an encyclopedia that anyone can edit in public together. In The Last of Us, the Seraphites communicate with a distinctive whistled language. That sound did not begin on television, it was created for the game. When the series brought the Seraphites into its episode Feel Her Love, the production wanted the whistles to feel connected to the game world. The show's audio team met with Naughty Dog's audio department, the team that had created the game language, to learn the system and share its sound assets. The whistles were re-recorded for the episode. Some were adjusted slightly for deeper emotional impact, but they stayed mostly similar to the original language. So a language designed for a game crossed into television, not just a sound effect but a shared piece of world building carried from one medium to another. Google Street View reached the last continent through a remote location challenge, beginning with just 2 Antarctic images. Those first images came from Half Moon Island in the South Shetland Islands. One showed chinstrap penguins, the other showed the island's coast. They were the feature's first Antarctic uploads. In 2012, Google's World Wonders project worked with the Polar Geospatial Center and New Zealand Antarctic Heritage Trust. A fisheye lens captured panoramic views of selected landmarks. The coverage then reached Cape Royds, Penguin Rookery, Shackleton's Hut, Scott's Hut, the South Pole Telescope, and the ceremonial South Pole. Later captures added valleys and research areas. Later contributors could submit their own photos, extending the map beyond Google's original captures. King George Island later produced 5 gigabytes of image data per kilometer. Google approved the upload there, showing coverage was built location by location, not across a continuous road network.